Test 1 2 1 2. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning here. And I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
Good morning. Are you ready? Let's get ready, shall we? Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center in Spokane, where our mission is transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference in our world. My name is Reverend Jane Simmons, and I'm here with Dr. Gary Simmons to
what are we doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing here? To be with you this morning as we explore that. How do we transform our lives? How do we do that? And so I want to welcome you. We want to start with our opening affirmation. I will speak it once and invite you wherever you find yourself geographically to speak it with me. There's only one presence and one power active in our world, in my life, and the universe.
Let's try that again.
God the good. All right, let's say it all together, shall we? There's only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the good. One life, one power, one presence, one life living itself through and as each one of us. And we're all here by divine appointment to be that expression of God on the planet, to bless our world. And this morning we have something to celebrate that I'd like to invite Karen Dunmore to come on up to the platform, socially distancing, of course. And I am just so pleased to announce that by this evening, by 5 p.m. this evening, Karen will have completed everything she needs to in order to become a licensed Unity teacher. And we are so delighted that is the case. She has one more talk to do that she's doing this afternoon for Toastmasters, and that is her final requirement that she has needed to meet. And let me assure you, this is not a small thing. Not a small thing. And I speak from experience because I also was a licensed Unity teacher before I became a minister. And it's a 3 or 4 year process. To give you an idea of what's involved in becoming a licensed teacher, first you have to graduate from the SEE program. SEE stands for Spiritual Enrichment and Education. And that means taking 25 credit classes and then going through 3 week-long intensives for another 12 classes, and that's in the leadership portion of it. And once you are complete with all those classes, then you write a final exam, and it's not just a little nothing test here. I'm talking final exam. And then you do your practicum, and you do that during something called this Skills Demonstration Seminar, or SDS, where you teach a mini class on a topic that you're assigned ahead of time, and you answer questions, and you lead prayer, meditation, and you're evaluated by a panel of ministers in order to pass. And if you listened to Karen's talk last week, you heard some of her adventures around all of that. And let's look at something else here. Usually, the 3 intensives and the skills demonstration seminar have always been done at Unity Village in person because these classes are experiential in nature. It's part of her practicum. And in Karen's case, she has had to do most of that. I think with the exception of the very first intensive, she's had to do it all virtually. And so that has added another level of challenge to her process. Not to mention the book reports, the classes that she has had to teach as part of her practicum, special services that she's needed to participate in, Toastmasters, psychological testing, attending a conference in some way, whether it's regional or just some kind of conference experience. And she's done this throughout the 4 years, and there's been a lot of peripheral requirements that she has completed. She's just done it step by step by step by step. Now, Karen has been teaching classes for a while. Many of you have been in her classes, and she will continue to do that. But now she'll be able to also offer credit classes for those who are interested in going that route. So watch for more classes coming your way in the new year from Karen. Now, typically, we would now take this time to give her certificate and her licensed teacher pin as we congratulate her on this achievement. However, they haven't arrived yet, and they probably won't until after Gary and I are retired. So we wanted to take time during this service to acknowledge Karen for all of her hard work, to congratulate her, and tell her how proud we both are of you for all the work you've done and continue to do, for the commitment. We know what's been involved. We've been part of the behind-the-scenes part of this, and it's just really, really an accomplishment for us to to celebrate together. And so I want to announce to the world that as of 5 p.m. tonight, Karen will officially be a licensed Unity teacher. So please join me, wherever you are, with a virtual hug and some applause as we congratulate Karen Dunmore on becoming a licensed Unity teacher.
I just want to thank the whole congregation for your support and love, and it's just been a blessing. And your patience. Thank
Awesome.
you very much.
Congratulations. All right, we have some news you can use, and there's lots of really interesting, important, good news you're about to hear, so, let's all pay attention.
Good morning. I am Judy Jameson, and I serve on your Board of Trustees, and I have a few announcements for you. Next Sunday, our service will be a little bit extended, so you can plan on that so that we can acknowledge Reverend Jane and Dr. Gary for the time here. And then there will also be a 3 o'clock Zoom celebration to celebrate their time here. Also, we have an interim administrator position that we would like to hire in the short term. So you still can apply between now and next Friday, the 11th. And if you email to board@unityspokane.org, you can get the materials to apply for that position. My last announcement that I have today is actually an update for you for the adult education team. I'm the board liaison for that team. And I wanted to just let you know what's happening. So first, I just wanted to tell you about our team members. We have Reverend David McClure, Cheryl Miller-Arndt, Elle Koenigsfeld, Karen Dunmore, and Lisa Matana. So imagine, if you will, our center continuing to have a vibrant and robust offering of classes, book studies, and spirit groups. We continue to grow and learn in connection with others this winter and continuing forward. That is the guiding intention of this team. In the near future, we are planning for spirit groups with offerings that will include book studies, Power of Eight groups, Sunday service discussion groups, and TED Talk discussion groups. And we also have leads on some classes with our licensed Unity teachers and Unity Worldwide classes, and possibly some others coming hopefully this winter. So it's our hope that you will take the opportunities to learn and connect during the coming months. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Judy.
Thanks, Judy. Joan's next.
Good morning. So I'm Joan Breckley, and I'm also on the Board of Directors, Board of Trustees. And I have some other announcements for you. We just have so much happening right now. So first of all, I just wanted to say that get ready. I'm diving deeper and deeper. I think that's what we're doing right now. We've been doing it all along, but we're going to continue doing it in new ways. And so as we head into all of the changes that are coming, I just invite you to breathe with me, to keep breathing and to keep trusting and to know that we are moving forward together in wonderful ways, and that we also are all going through a time of loss and dealing with our feelings about losing our very precious ministers. So, with that in mind, I wanted to remind you what I mentioned last week, which was that we will be reopening the center on a very limited basis starting on the 20th of December, which is Christmas Sunday. It'll be open to 25 people, and there will be a registration process that will be available through the website. And if you don't have access to the website, you can call the church at 838-6518 and ask for your name to be put on that list. So that will open up on the Tuesday preceding each Sunday that you would want to register for. So it has to be done each week, and that gives different people opportunities to be here. So the first opportunity to register would be on December 15th, which is the Tuesday preceding the 20th. So please keep that in mind. You go to the website and go to the, I think it's the tickets section. You're not actually buying a ticket, you're just letting us know you want to come. Okay, also just reminding you, please only come if you're healthy, and we do maintain masking and social distancing while we're here. I wanted to let you know that even though Jane and Gary are no longer really available for spiritual counseling, Reverend Jackie is. And so if you are wanting to have some spiritual counseling, this can be a difficult time during the holidays and during all the different changes that are going on. Please call or email the church again and ask that Jackie be notified, and she'll contact you. Then finally, I wanted to share with you, one more thing before I do this. Remind you that Christmas Eve, we're having a virtual Christmas Eve candle lighting service. It's going to be wonderful, and we're inviting you to bring your own candle to where you're sitting and watching it from home. So I hope you'll join us. That's at 7 o'clock on Christmas Eve. So finally, I wanted to share with you, you can see I have one here. Oh, I guess it's on the screen. Yeah, there are pictures of what we're calling affirmation circlets. And this is a wonderful spiritual tool that Jane has brought back to us from a conference. And it's meant to augment your prayer experience. You can use it alone. We'll be using it sometimes on Sundays. Each of them comes with the directions and a copy of a loving kindness prayer, which is adapted from the Buddhist prayer of loving kindness. There are many colors, sizes, and types of bead. They were all handmade by Unity members. And the circlets include agate and amethyst and lapis and check glass and various other things. So this is a fundraiser for Unity, and so we're requesting a donation of $20. And you can get your circlet either by making an in-person appointment with Linda Tweedy. And of course, that will be masked and socially distanced. Linda is available on Wednesdays and Thursdays between 10 and 2. And if you're at a Sunday service, you could pick one up then. And we have about 40 of them left. So if you would like one, I'd suggest you do it soon. So thank you, and we'll look forward to our next step together. Oh, one more thing. There are little pouches that you can also get to hold your circlets. Thanks.
Thank you, Joan. In fact, during our meditation time today, I'm going to be using one of the circlets, and this one was made for me by the wonderful team who has made these very lovingly, very prayerfully put them together. And so this used to be a necklace of my mother's, and has always had a very special place in my heart. And I realized that if I asked them to make me the prayer beads from it, that I could continue using it with its sacredness that it holds for me. And so I'm going to be using that. I've got my little pouch that I bought from the bookstore to keep it in. And so I'm going to lead us through a meditation this morning. You heard Joan's announcement about these affirmation beads, and from time to time there will be a meditation using these, and it's a loving kindness meditation. And so I'm going to, now these are created, you don't have to use these, of course, but these are created for those of us who like something tactile when we are in meditation, or who have used prayer beads in the past, whether they're Hindu or Buddhist or rosaries or Christian, whatever we have utilized and would like to try using. That's where these have come from. There are 18 beads in the circle, and for each one there is an affirmation to be used. And when we are meeting in person, there's actually all of the words and the affirmations will be available for everyone who wants to follow along and do it that way. Today, we will have the main affirmations on the screen. And in the future, all of them will be included in some way. But for today, I will invite you to speak aloud the main affirmations that you will see on the screen when we get to that bead. And then to let my words become yours for any of the affirmations that are not on the screen. And I'll lead us through this. And there are some very short affirmations that I will repeat and invite you to repeat after me. So this is going to give you a little taste of what the meditative time will be like when these are being used in the future. So let's take a moment, shall we? The theme for Advent this week is peace. And I read recently that peace is persistently present. Peace is persistently present. And I believe that's true. But I also believe that to experience that peace, we need to open our hearts to find it. And so, let's do that together right now as we begin with bead number 1. And this is also called the mother bead. And as I'm holding on to this bead, I invite you to take a moment to settle your body. Settle your body. As we move our attention deep, deep within the body, we feel it beginning to settle into the seat. And just really scan throughout your body and notice any places of tension that you're holding on to in your body. Maybe around the shoulders or the neck, around the jaw, the eyes, the stomach, whatever it is for you. Just notice that place of tension, and as you take a breath, relax into the moment, just release that tension. And so we begin to follow the breath in and out, letting it anchor us deeply in this present moment as we affirm, I breathe. Let's say that together. I breathe. And so we take a breath as we move to bead number 2 and continue to follow that breath. And now imagine breathing right into the heart space. You can put your hand on your heart if that will help to connect with that space. Just follow the breath into the heart and bring into your awareness someone or something that you deeply appreciate. Think of a person or a pet or a place of beauty or a cherished memory that can generate a feeling of gratitude. And as you do, allow that feeling to grow and expand and warm your heart and open your heart. As we affirm, I open my heart. Together, I open my heart. And we move to the 3rd bead as we focus within and affirm for ourselves the first affirmation on the screen. We say that together. May I be healthy, happy, and radiating the love within my heart. Breathe those words in. And let my words become yours as we move to bead 4, one of the first devotion beads. And we affirm, may my body be healthy. Breathe that in. Bead number 5, may I be filled with compassion for self and others. And bead number 6, may I remember who I really am. breathe in the power of that affirmation. Now think of someone that you deeply love as you move to bead number 7. And join me by affirming the second affirmation that you'll see on the screen. Together, may you be healthy, happy, and radiating the love within your heart. And we will affirm that 3 more times. Once for our families as we go to bead number 8 together. May you be healthy, happy, and radiating the love within. Bead number 9 for our friends together. May you be healthy, happy, and radiating the love within your heart. And finally, we affirm this for our acquaintances. Bead number 10 together. May you be healthy, happy, and radiating the love within. Now let's take a breath. As we think of someone who challenges us, someone we might actively dislike, as we move to bead 11. And as we hold that person in our awareness, we affirm together the affirmation on the screen. May you be healthy, happy, and radiating the love within your heart. And as you hold that same person in your heart, let my words become yours as we move to bead 12 and affirm, may your body be healthy. Bead number 13, may you be filled with compassion for self and others. And bead 14, may you remember who you really are. And now we take a breath and we widen our compassion to include the earth and all beings on the planet as we move to bead 15 and say, final affirmation on the screen together. May you be healthy, happy, and connected to the love in your heart. And we move to bead 16. We speak aloud the same affirmation for the elementals, earth, air, fire, and water. May you be healthy, happy, and connected to my heart. Bead 17, we affirm it for the animals. Together, may you be healthy, happy, and connected to my heart. And now the final bead, 18, we affirm for the plants. Together, may you be healthy, happy, and connected to my heart. We have completed the circle, and so we move back to bead number 3. As we return our attention to our breath, as we breathe in the presence of God and breathe out compassion and kindness, and we affirm, I breathe. Together, I breathe. Our hearts open wide and we are filled with divine love as we move to bead number 2, and we affirm, I open my heart. Together, I open my heart. And we return to bead number 1, the mother bead, as we celebrate the truth together. I am one with all, now and always. Together, I am one with all, now and always. And we enter the silence as we sink into the awareness that we truly are one with the presence of God. And as we experience the oneness of spirit, we are filled with the peace that passes all human understanding in the silence. And we take a breath as we give thanks for this truth, the truth that sets us free, that we are one with the one, that we are divinely connected with all that is, and that we are here to open our hearts to the compassion deep within and to share that with all. And for this truth, we give thanks. And so it is. Amen.
I always wanted a red cape on my back. I always wanted to be the best in my pack. I always wanted to be known to be good, to be the hero of my own hood. If I could just fly, I could save everyone. Stop all the wars so nobody's gotta run. All the killing, all the crimes, pain and suffering. It's getting tougher to be buffered from it all. Are we gonna make it through? Is he gonna fly back in? Cause if he don't come right now, I don't think good will win. Time is running now. Do we wanna wait for him? Or is it our time now to bring the good back in?
We don't have to leap tall buildings
In a single bound,
There's a lot of good that we can do.
standing on the ground,
We don't need a jetpack suit.
take us to the clouds.
It's up to me and you, right here, right now. Superhero, na 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 na. The superhero, whoa, 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 whoa. Superhero, na 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 na. The superhero, whoa, 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 whoa.
The world is full of so much pain, and though I can't fly, I can do my little part here before I die, yeah. I may not win the Nobel Prize, but at least I can try to be a little more kind, spend a little more time in my changing life, yeah. Like giving a hug when somebody is down, feeding a soul when there's nobody around. Small things that can change the sound and the vibe of the spirit that can change a town. Started small, now it's touched a crowd. The crowd is growing, now the word is out that if we all do our parts, we can touch the clouds. Without a cape and a mask, we can touch the clouds. Yep.
We don't have to leap tall buildings.
In a single bound,
There's a lot of good that we can do.
standing on the ground,
We don't need a jetpack suit.
take us to the clouds.
It's up to me and you, right here, right now. Superhero, na 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 na. The superhero, whoa, 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 whoa. Superhero, na 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 na. The superhero, whoa, whoa, whoa.
It's the smallest things that make a difference, and all the power's locked within us. All we gotta do is find the key and turn the latch and set it free, yeah. We don't need to be fast and strong, cause a kind word can go a long way. Help someone whose faith is gone to get back up and carry on. Maybe it's too hard to understand, think it's too much for us to handle, but I promise you that you can, cause you don't need to be a Superman.
We don't have to leap tall buildings.
In a single bound,
There's a lot of good that we can do.
standing on the ground,
We don't need a jetpack suit.
to take
it's up to me and you. Right here, right now. Superhero. Feel the soul when there's nobody around. Small superhero. And the vibe of the spirit that can change a town. Superhero. Everybody's knowing now the word is out that if we all do our parts, we can catch the cloud. Without a cape and a mask, we can touch the clouds. Yeah.
Good morning. This is the second Sunday in Advent, and our focus today is on peace. I have just a small reading here from one of the old daily words. I am a living expression of the divine, as we all are. I know that peace seeks expression in my life. In the stillness of prayer, I embrace peace, allowing it to fill my body, mind, and spirit. Centered in the stillness, peace is mine. All things contribute to the calm peace of my soul. And the peace of God, which passes all understanding, will keep your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. That's Philippians 4, verse 7. I light this candle for peace.
All right, thanks, Karen. So, my talk is titled Focusing on the Field, How to Work in Consciousness. So, this is my last Sunday talk, and it's bringing me into a kind of my own little process here, so we'll see how it works for me to kind of speak in this context. But I'm wanting to share today, my last talk, how I work in consciousness, how I apply my own spiritual practice to whatever is happening that would otherwise either diminish me or trigger me or cause me to shift into some stress or anxiety about what's happening in my life or in the world. And so when I refer to working in consciousness, it's important for us to have an understanding. We're talking about working, doing the heavy lifting within our own awareness. In other words, spending less time trying to manage the external effects of what's happening or what's not happening in the world, and instead being in the awareness of our intent to show up present in our life, owning what is happening in our creative process, and being able to be with what's happening as if it's our abundance, as if it's calling us into a greater capacity to show up and make a difference in the world. And so to work in consciousness means that we have to in some way abandon having to deal with the external dynamics that would otherwise cause us to kind of work with the outer in the context of stress, worry, fear, or otherwise needing to have things be a certain way because we inside of ourselves aren't connected to our own sense of well-being and worth. So to work in consciousness begins with connecting to that part of us that we know is the truth of us, our sense of wholeness, our capacity to be unto our own life the one. And as we recognize that we have the capacity to transform the moment by being with it out of our own sense of well-being and worth, as opposed to being with what's happening out of some sense of needing to push this away or having to have it be a certain way. We need to recognize that we have the capacity to be in our world and not be diminished by it. And so if we want to have another definition of this work in consciousness, we could call it focusing on the field of infinite possibilities, what Jesus described as the kingdom of God. And where did he locate the kingdom of God? It's not out there, it's within. And what does within mean? Well, it's not in the body. It's energetically, it's in a dimension that's not material. It's not in time or in space. It's infinite and eternal. It could be described as the quantum universe. And so consciousness, God, our higher self, the field of infinite possibilities, the 0 point, they're all terminologies that describe the first cause, the source that we are unto our own life experience, that what's happening in the outer is an effect of a quantum process. It's an effect of consciousness interacting with the field of infinite possibilities that causes a collapse of the wave into the particle, into what we're having as our life experience. We draw things into our life experience by virtue of where we place our attention and awareness, because attention and awareness is what collapses the field of infinite possibilities into the very one happenstance that we are having or experiencing. So as we look to life and teachings of Jesus as a master of this dimension of working in consciousness, then we could listen to his sayings and his teachings in the context of he's trying to get us to work with this field of infinite possibilities in consciousness and struggle less with respect to what's happening in the outer world. And we hear in Scripture, take no thought. In other words, don't worry about your life, what you're going to eat or what you're going to wear or what you're going to put on. Isn't life more than these things? And so the idea here is that there is an experience of life that can happen as we let go of what's not our job to worry about, or not it's not the right place to be putting our focus and our intention if we are to really matter and make a difference in our world. So how can we get into this dynamic of working with our challenges in life, whether it be issues with respect to finances or health or career or fulfillment? If we begin to understand that the beginnings of any kind of good that we want to draw into our life begins in consciousness, begins with an idea, begins with a felt sense of what we want to connect to and draw into our life, when we recognize that we have the power to draw whatever is necessary and needed into our life, and we can do that in consciousness without having to pull it out of the external world, then we need to focus on how do we do that? How do we work in consciousness? How do we actualize this field of infinite possibilities and collapse the wave of infinite possibilities into whatever is necessary and needed in the moment? And so that's what I'm wanting us to begin to explore. This being my last talk, I want to leave you with the awareness that we can manifest a greater good in our life experience, but we need to work with certain basic principles with respect to how the manifest world happens or gets created. And it begins in consciousness. It begins energetically. It begins in the field of infinite possibilities. So I have a couple of movie clips from Dr. Joe that explains it way better than I do, but I'm going to be building upon his explanation, because he's going to explain very precisely how we can work with the field in consciousness, using our intention, our thought, using the felt sense, our heart opening up and connecting to a greater good. While it may live out there somewhere, it is still present in terms of the field. All possibilities exist within the field. It's just a matter of working in the field and not in the form. And so, check this out.
From Yale University in the 1940s that was very, very passionate and interested in studying the electromagnetic fields around living organisms. Now, in the 1940s, nobody was doing that. He was just a different guy. So he started off studying eggs And when he was studying eggs, chick eggs, different types of bird eggs, salamander eggs, lizard eggs, reptiles, amphibians, 100% of the time, he always saw the positive charge where the head was and the negative charge where the tail was. Now, if you have positive charge on one end and negative charge on the other end, you have a magnet. So that magnetic field is actually in the shape of the egg, exactly.
Okay.
So he starts measuring, he starts quantitatively analyzing all these eggs, and then he goes right to women with the propensity for uterine cancer. And he starts measuring their electromagnetic field around their body as well as around the organ. And he starts noticing the same exact patterns for uterine cancer. And every single woman that had a pattern in the field that he measured had a pattern in the physical body of cancer. But there was a certain percentage, though, that had some in the field but didn't have the cancer in the body yet. But they ultimately developed the cancer. So he was looking at matter thinking there's a glow of, with his measurements, matter's emitting a field. But it's not the case. It's actually the field that's creating matter. So change the field and you change matter.
Okay, so I wanted to stop the movie right here because this is a really important point. And this point is backed by Albert Einstein, who said the field is the sole governing agency of the particle. And so what that means is that the physical form or the physical manifestation, in this case of the disease, cancer, exists first in the field, in the invisible field of potentiality that then produces the tumor within the physical body. And so when we recognize that the body didn't develop cancer, the cancer existed in the field of possibilities that was brought into that individual's life experience. And so when we recognize that the field is the sole governing agency of the particle being what's happening in the moment, what is the field? The field is the context for how we're having our life. Think about it. The context for how you are having your life. We either are having our life as if it's for us, or we're having our life as if it's not. And so whenever we fail to recognize that we decide how our life is going to be unto us, if we don't understand that that's what we do, we will do it unconsciously and end up doing to ourselves basically what we're not wanting to have happen to us. And so the focus, therefore, needs to be looking at the field of infinite possibilities, as opposed to looking at what's not happening or what's happening that is bothering us. And so Jesus says, take no thought for the forms in your life, for the things in your life, for the dynamics, that the events and circumstances of your life, but rather invest your energy in this principle called the field of infinite possibilities, what Jesus described as the kingdom of God. Seek first the kingdom of God, and all things shall be added unto you. And so the seeking of this kingdom, or seeking first the field, means to begin our creative process, our intentionality of making our life what we want it to become, to work with that intent in consciousness, as opposed to trying to get the outer to conform to what makes sense to us within our own limiting belief system. So let's go back to the video now, and now we're going to listen to how Dr. Joe says, this is how you work with the field. This is how you do work in consciousness. He's going to give an example of Buddhist monks who are going to be challenged to alter DNA just through their mental activities. And so let's give it a watch.
Two components, according to the research, that shows how to change the field. Here's an example. They did an experiment where they took a group of people that were great healers. And they took these vials of DNA and set them out in front of these people. And they said, now listen, this is a mindful function. With all of your intention, we want you to see this DNA wind or unwind in your mind. Just keep seeing it wind or unwind, wind or unwind. Okay. So they did it over and over again. They checked the DNA. Guess what happened? Nothing. Intention did nothing to change the DNA.
Okay.
So then they said, okay, open your heart, create an elevated emotion, and just feel gratitude and radiate that feeling of care and love into the field, and let's see if that changes the DNA. They elevate their emotional state, they do it for a period of time, they check the DNA, guess what happens? Nothing. But when they say to the people, what I want you to do is see the DNA unwind in tension, one frequency, the electrical charge in the quantum field, and feel the emotions you would feel as if it already unwound, elevated emotion, magnetic field in the quantum. Over 20% of the DNA unwound at a remote location. So thought being the electrical charge in the quantum field, magnetic charge, how you think and how you feel, broadcasts a field. So now, not just any type of field is going to do that. It's got to be coherent. So we practice creating brain coherence. We actually measure it. We practice creating heart coherence. Why? Because once energy moves right up in here, and you can change resentment or frustration or impatience to joy, to freedom, to gratitude, and we're measuring to see if you're doing it.
So it's really important for us to recognize that we are creating and generating a field, an energetic field that is like broadcasting, and then we are also an antenna that is drawing something back to us by virtue of how we think and how we feel. Thought and feeling, intention and elevated emotion generates either a coherent or an incoherent signal that has to come back to us. And so where we are within that spectrum of emotion determines the dynamic of the quality of our life. And so as you look, for instance, let's blow this all the way up, Caleb, so we can sort of see. So where are you predominantly on the scale? And because that's going to generate the coherent or incoherent signal that is going to broadcast and therefore come back to you. And as we recognize, now wait a minute, if I'm in fear, or if I'm in shame, or if I'm in unworthiness, I'm generating a signal that is sending out a message: treat me poorly, give me less than. But yet, if I'm generating the felt sense of gratitude and appreciation, which is way up on the top of that spectrum, the coherent signal that I'm sending out is generating a wave of possibilities that seeks to find me as I become the counterpoint to that vibration that is seeking to fulfill itself through the effort of intention and conscious thought. And so now what I'm wanting to share as I bring this understanding to a practice, how can we kind of recognize that, first of all, if we are generating energetically feelings that are below the line, we're going to bring into our experience stress and anxiety. We're going to occupy more of our chemistry in our sympathetic nervous system. That's all about fight or flight, as opposed to our parasympathetic nervous system, which is all about growth and renewal. And so if we're not consciously aware that energetically we become modulated by what's happening out there, if we're just allowing what's happening out there to impact us as if we have no choice in the matter, we have to decide how we're going to be with what's happening so that we can elevate energetically our presence, so that we can allow ourselves to be an influencer as opposed to being influenced by what's happening. So you're all familiar with what could be described as the energy centers of the body, or chakras. Dr. Joe is going to share another piece of this, how to work in consciousness, how to work with the field, how to work energetically. But I'm wanting to share this specific methodology because it goes to helping understand how we work energetically with the body. If you don't have a practice of working energetically, working in consciousness, this is a place to begin. And it's going to be something that is going to be valuable for us, because when we recognize that all of these energy centers become modulated by thought and feeling, And if our thoughts and our emotions are not coherent, all of these energy centers become incoherent. And because all of these energy centers are connected to various functions within the body process, mind-body process, it's going to impact how we're able to show up and function in the presence of a chaotic or chaotic world. So check this out, and we'll talk about it.
So I use the word energy centers because if you say chakras, some people will have the wrong understanding of them. These different energy centers of the body are centers of information. They have their own frequency, they have their own energy, they have their own little individual brains, believe it or not. They have their own hormones, their own chemicals. So those different circuit boards are under the control of the autonomic nervous system. Now, stress creates imbalance in the autonomic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is switched on for one reason: emergency for preservation. So then you're mobilizing enormous energy to preserve the body, and it should be a short-term thing. The other nervous system, the parasympathetic, is for growth and repair, right? So some people spend the majority of their time living in that high frequency of stress. So then teaching people then how to make a move from that sympathetic system into the parasympathetic system means they have to practice on a daily basis certain fundamental principles. When you're in stress, when you're in survival, you narrow your focus on a cause. That's called what's called a convergent focus. And when the autonomic nervous system moves out of balance, the brain moves out of balance, right? We narrow our focus on the cause, and it causes each one of these different energy centers to move into incoherence as well. And those little individual brains start moving into incoherence and send an incoherent message to the cells and tissues and organs. Hormones then become downregulated, and the body starts moving out of balance. So when we bless the energy centers, or we reprogram these energy centers, two things has to happen. They have to be able to slow their brainwaves down. They have to get out of that high beta state. And the way we do it is to go from a narrow focus to a broad focus. When you open your focus, when you open your awareness, that's what creates coherence in the brain, because you're going against that habit of putting your attention on matter. So there's a convergent focus, which is focusing on matter, and then there's a divergent focus, which is focusing on energy. Well, reality is both particle and wave, matter and energy. So if a person can slow their brainwaves down from beta brainwaves to alpha brainwaves, now they're starting to fall out of their thinking brain right into the home of the autonomic nervous system. If the person can't change their brainwaves, it'll never work because they're in their neocortex and their thinking mind, right? So that's one thing that has to happen. The second thing that has to happen is that they have to practice both a convergent focus and a divergent focus.
Okay, so let me talk for a minute about the difference between convergent and divergent. So it's focusing narrowly on convergent focus, focusing narrowly on a single issue or a particle, as he describes, and divergence is focused on broad focus. So it's like going from somebody, someone, something, somewhere, and some time, which is convergent. When we're living in our self system, our sense of self, in our egoic identity, it's convergent being. In other words, all of our capacity is converging into and onto that which we have defined as a threat or a problem or an issue. Divergent being is the experience of feeling connected to everybody, everyone, everything, everywhere, every time. And as we begin to open ourselves to that, it automatically begins to create coherence within our mind-body process. So another dimension of this principle, convergence and divergent way, is in thinking. Convergent thinking is all about finding the answer. Divergent thinking is all about being in the question. Can you get a sense of the difference between the two? And how you can get so focused on the problem or the answer and get all wound up and tight about it, and yet when we just focus on the question, something else happens. Something comes to us. We have a revelation, we have an insight, an aha, epiphany. But if we're looking for answers, we're looking in the stuff of life, as opposed to the possibilities. And then there's also convergent living and divergent living. We're experiencing right now, we're blessed in living in Kettle Falls in the sense that it's divergent living. I mean, there's no, it's not like being in the city at all. And so it's important, especially if we live in the city, that we get out into the country, be a part of nature, because our brain needs to connect up with its foundation, with its source. And so as we recognize that we have this capacity to be with what's happening in the context of working in consciousness, we have to understand that our consciousness is impacted by how our brain is worked, our nervous system, what's going on in our internal dialogue. All those factors impact how we're being within ourselves and therefore how we're having our life. And so finally, I'm just going to leave you with an invitation, and this is what I'm going to be doing between Christmas and New Year's Day. Dr. Joe has invited all of his students to a challenge, and so I'm going to invite you to the same challenge. And so if you'll go on to YouTube and just type in the search, Blessing of the Energy Centers, you'll come up with this video. And it's free, and it's an opportunity for you to listen to this video and learn the practice of blessing the energy centers. And in the part of this practice, you'll automatically beginning to move from beta to alpha brain waves. And as a part of the practice, you'll be working with convergent and divergent focus of attention through each of the energy centers. In other words, the meditation will talk you through the process of exercising your conscious awareness with respect to the energetic dimension of your body. Because when you focus on an energy center, you can find the energy center, the picture shows you where it is, or you know where it is on your body, but there's also the focus on the energy that surrounds the energy center. So convergent focus is on the center itself, divergent focus is on the space that surrounds the center. Because that brings into more coherence and more capacity to bring balance to all the centers within the body. Now, it's not so much that this meditation practice sends you over to enlightenment. No, it's just exercising your capacity to begin to work in consciousness, to begin to generate more metacognition with respect to understanding that you have to monitor your own thoughts. You have to recognize when you step out of your own personal integrity of well-being and wholeness. You have to know that you step out of that, as opposed to it just happens to you. And when we recognize that we have the capacity to, just through our awareness, shift our energetic field, we'll just do that from now on. And this is what I use as a part of my personal practice. This is what has enabled me to be able to not be drawn into the politics that have invaded our awareness, and it has given me a sense of really being able to remember that my work is not in the effect, it's in cause. And so I need to show up and be the one unto my own life and be prepared, at least to be ready to dive deeply as we began our service with. All right, let's take it to heart.
Well, there's that. Thank you for the reminder that what our work is. And you know, I always find the month of December is a poignant, potent time for me, for many of us, as we look at the Christmas story, and it's about the feeling. It's about the feeling, and as you were speaking, I was being reminded that, you know, being the Christ in action is this work, and that as we, you know, the real Christmas story is about the birth in our awareness of that truth of who we are and what we're about, and so it's a good reminder to just see that we have within us all we need to really make this world a better place, to do our own transformative work, and there's a formula to follow. And I will say, you know, I'm feeling a lot of emotion these days, and it's going to stick around for a while. And so to remember that it's not about bypassing the feelings if we're going through, you know, this time of year is very easy for many of us to feel some grief for those, you know, loved ones who are no longer with us, or if we're separated from our families, or you know, the fact that we're retiring. All that has kind of been piled onto my heart in a big way. And so I'm going to not ignore those feelings or try to overcome them. I'm going to feel them, but keeping in mind that there is a deeper source that's there as well, that it's not just about being stuck in this place of grief and sadness. It's about feeling that, being very authentic with how we're feeling, and then going deeper and finding that in the field, you know, is all we need. If we can, you know, feel it, we can heal it. But also that there is a deeper source. Within us is the power to lift us through this, and to help us learn in a deeper way who we are and what we're about. And so that's what I got from what you talked about today. I was listening to it with a very practical ear of looking at how I can utilize this practice to help deal with all that's going on.
All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for your support. I guess that's what I'm supposed to say next. This is my last time platforming, and we can all be thankful for that. Let's all give thanks that, you know, I'm like a fish out of water doing this platforming, and as much as I like to connect with everybody and, you know, connect, well, even if I'm not doing the talk, this part of it is just so difficult for me, so I just hope you know. But let's give thanks for all of the support that continues to pour into our center, and how important that is, and how much we appreciate everyone who is listening to that call. And so let's say together our offering blessing, shall we? I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I give thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. And we are grateful for that. Right. So we are going to complete our time by standing and saying the prayer for protection. And that will be followed by the peace song today, as we honor the peace in the Advent calendar. So, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And that's the truth. So stay tuned after the peace song to join us on the Zoom meet and greet.
And let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God our Creator, and we all believe. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let begin with me. Let this be our moment now. With every step I take, let this be my song.